Warhammer, or plastic crack as it's known. I have a problem. Do you? I was given some Warhammer models and literally within no time at all, the next thing I know, this is all my Warhammer things. And it's a story of my painting collection, my obsessive behaviour, my money problems. Now I was given, as I've covered in my first or second or third video ever on this channel, a lot of oldie Space Marines, Tau and some unknown stuff. That also tracks that person's painting journey, so let's start with that. I'm comforted to see that it's not just me who had a hard time painting. I know these are based in some degree, whereas a lot of mine weren't for ages. See how he just stuck on a shooter there? I mean, I think I hope we've all done similar. So yeah, black and white, is that even a chapter? Huge knife there. I discovered Warhammer by, I want to say 7th, but I think it might have been 8th edition. And yeah, these were just some of the worst models I was given, but I was really glad of them. I had to take them down to Warhammer Games Workshop to identify what they were. Now he's gone for a weird colour scheme here, he's made it up. But as you'll see, I did similar. So, moving on. You can almost track the lad who gave me these models, his painting journey, as he gets better and more adventurous. Faces just being the most difficult thing for me and many others. So I guess more of the same. At times they've attempted to paint on the arrows and such, on the shoulders. Fairly standard attempt at Space Marines, as we've all tried at some point. Nothing too shameful, does the job. A beige on most of them, on the bases, rather than just black. And I think this is my very first effort. I tried all the things on top of each other, the dry brushing, pretty awful. And one of my next times was much better, I would say. Still no basing done, and transfers peeling off the shoulder there. No silver under the jets or anything, but painted his hair alright. I just killed it with all the shadings over it, as well as that. But that's where my journey started. After I got given loads of stuff, such as this guy, didn't know what they were, and just thought it looked cool. I knew what Warhammer was in a sense of the models, but I didn't know the game. It seemed like when I got into Warhammer myself, all the models were larger than... That is the 9th drop of the evening. Look how that's twisted. Boink. So yeah, just a sea of blue. You end up with so many Space Marines. But these ones with the jetpacks on the back are pretty cool. And then you get like oddities that I didn't know what the hell they were. Nice though. I like his paint job, because I didn't paint these. So this mystery guy who put me on this path, you know, forever grateful in a sense, certainly to begin with. I think this is First Strike box set, and I followed a guide for this, and it was more successful, as you can see, but still not great. Completely does the job, but they're not based. That's going to be a bit of a theme, and just to compare them with the ones I was given. They are a better model, I do prefer them. Again, models I was given, mostly baseless, weirdly. The fella's painting was good enough there, not bad at all. Then some odds and ends, what seem bodged together and practice painted. Although the one that's without base here, I think this is a nice paint job myself. Not mine, the mystery guys. These are mine. I was told, you can paint them whatever colour scheme you want, so that's what I did. But I don't think that's exactly true, because you have to know what faction they're meant to be and stuff. It very much does matter who they are. That was me dabbing my finger into making it up as I go. Cut to a couple of years later, I turned one into a Santa Claus for a Dungeons and Dragons one-shot where Santa had been attacked by his brother Krampus. Amongst the things that Mystery Man gave me, dusty now, I apologise, these rather large and probably very expensive at the time models. I noticed the base here is the round side down, so it wobbles, but for free. You know, these were going in a skip, can you believe it? These big clunky things. Now these he's gone two-tone. Don't know whether they were following a guide or anything. And this was a sign that these models are brittle, you know. They cost a lot of money, but ultimately it's just flimsy plastic. And I didn't know what this faction was for a long time, and I think I might be misremembering, or was it the Aldari? I use them for Dungeons and Dragons more now. There was these pieces of terrain, which is really useful for someone just getting into the hobby. Made the games much more fun. Some Tau soldiers, some seemingly experimentally made Tau, I'm not sure. So yeah, I love these rounded robot types and the flying discs, and then the big chunky robots with all the bits hanging off it. Lovely. Then with this guy, this was the last piece of the freebies. So yeah, just overwhelming generosity of a stranger, really. And then it was time for me and my son to buy our first start collecting box sets. It came with a Triarch Stalker. Now here, mostly, yes it's dusty, grubby, a grey, he's silver, didn't even bother painting the gun. And my son won't allow me to paint it anymore because he says he wants us to sort of have it as a memento of our journey, if you will. I very much remember gluing these green tubes in. I've just dropped the 10th model, no breakages. Okay, one with a different coloured base to show that he was the leader. That's not really what you do. And then here was my favourite model out of this set, now with no arms. I can't even remember his name right now. That was essentially my son's army. Ah yes, and the requisite putting the wrong size base on. We've all done it. My army was goblins. I winged this as well, and I came back to this paint job many times just to add a little bit more colour on the way, but was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm improvising without having a clue at where I'm heading with this. And bits have fallen off it. It's kind of heartbreaking. So building these models was fun, and choosing the big crazy weapons. This guy has lost his actual head and seemingly one shoulder. And then you've got the little smaller ones. So there's 5 of those chaps. And then the Pain Boy, who I loved his stats when I first got with him, and love the Freddy Krueger type model. I don't know whether the variety of stances I did was correct, like everybody else's, but I was happy with this paint job on the whole. Little white tusks getting in there. Not fancy, but did the job. Now this guy, because I positioned, well you can see it wobbles, positioned the gun wrong evidently, that it wobbles constantly now. But yeah, it's all part of the rich journey of painting. I was happy. I'm still happy with them. I like the skin colours. Now we can't really gauge the importance of the father-son relationship in this story. As a divorced father, I wanted to both revert back to having fun and being a child and being into the things that I'm actually into, and also bring my child up to be into similar things as I was, fantasy and stuff like that. So Warhammer presented a thing that we could do together and be invested in, and maybe that's part of a desire for a father to have a bond with his son, and maybe there's a sad tone to that, I don't know, but as it goes. My son and I are intensely close and now play Dungeons and Dragons more than anything together. But yeah, those 3 models started all this. That's what I keep coming back to. Anyway, after not quite finishing painting all those models, there was talk of what armies are we buying next? And without necessarily having the funds, I went and bought them anyway. Hive Tyrant, Tyranids, barely painted. Jesus, what's that, Model 11? So some of these came with the first strike box. Very happy with how that turned out, although now I'm not, kind of. But when I painted that, I guess I am, but I can see now there's a lot of areas I haven't painted. And that's what this video and this channel is going to hope to address. Yeah, my son said, oh, I don't want it painting like the box. I want you to do this colour scheme. And once again, I'm like, I don't know where to put the paints. But I learnt a valuable lesson here. Undercoat rather than base coating them with the pots. Get a spray that does it for you. And you're always learning a lesson. This is another thing that my son says, yeah, I want it to look like this. And I don't know, we didn't know what we were doing. Not particularly happy with those at all. But at least I have paint on them to some degree. I went on to buy just the Death Guard half of Dark Imperium box set on eBay or something. Oh man, you're witnessing something having broke almost. That is hanging on by practically nothing. So yeah, as you can see, just a pile of green. And I think they look lovely when they're properly painted as well. It might have been a year after that I even discovered these things in the box and thought, what are they? And I still don't really know. And am I right in thinking that these go with this box set? So this was quite a good haul, really. Now I am getting mixed up with what's from what. Yeah, I've got a load of these. These are so much a nuisance because they stick with each other. Well, they won't now, but they're so spiky. I'm surprised they're not more snapped off. Thought they were cool, they're really annoying. And now that I properly glued them on here, when I can't even undercoat them unless I cover all the bases in spray, so they just remain like that because I just can't be bothered. I don't have the effort at the moment. Well, I haven't had for years. And packing them in a cupboard altogether is a nuisance. Oh yeah, we're very proud of this paint job, this Death Dread. Is it? No, that's not the Death Dread. I've forgotten. Oh my god. But yeah, I was happy with this paint job for a while. Remember the back, the pastiness of that being... The way the wash is blended is the words I'm looking for. No base though, a bit... Oh, so I've done something to it, but basically nothing. But yeah, that was a stage where I was like, oh, that's my best yet. Pretty damn happy. And I had a long while that I lived with them all out on shelves, but nowadays I just put them in drawers, squeeze them all up. Okay, so these I've actually forgotten about. These Kroot were the guy who gave me things for free. One of them lost their hand, him, so I had to go myself at just gluing any freaky bits on him because that's what that other guy had done. So I did the same. This one has a massive Wolverine hand on him for some reason. These Sylvaneth looked lovely on the box, but I detest the way they catch on each other. And when they get in close proximity, oh my god, just the fact of that winds me up. But I sat in a Warhammer shop and the guy helped me choose paints to partially do this. Unfinished because I didn't finish it in the shop. But another stage in my painting evolution of, I don't know, learning a little bit from the guys in the shop and thinking, oh yeah, if they were to take me right through it, I'd learn quite a lot. But then the game shop shuts down or changes hands and back to square one. On your own. Now at some point I bought this single model and I did go to a paint scheme with this. And I'm happy with that. good enough for me. So I eventually got the first edition Age of Sigmar starter set. Absolutely abysmal neck hole here. The head's in completely the wrong place. As you might have seen, I'm touching up the finishing touches of this at the moment. Prosecutors, I did love the look of, but that, more spikes, more falling over, more painting improvisation, which I shouldn't have done. They fall over too easily, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's annoyed by these. Ugh, that's the story of my life. Another model I was very pleased with, to be fair. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, I learnt a lot from this, and I'm still very happy with it, even though it's not great. You know what makes me happy? Just getting fully paint on it. I know it's not the best base in the world, but I still am happy. And then you just keep buying them, don't you? You end up with them in other sets, and it's like, oh, start again. In another sort of separate add-on set, the bases came with a much more interesting look, so I was happy to paint those. So this was like a bit of a next evolution as well. But I never go to town on the weapons. I think that's a big downfall that I should take on board. So what will this be? Age of Sigmar 2, I imagine. And undercoated green because I had a lot of Death Guard green left together. And from painting videos, I didn't see that it made a difference to do them black or white. People were like, oh, it helps with the highlighting. I really didn't notice. So I thought any undercoat just is fine. Maybe, well, it's a big possibility that we will actually get around to painting these on this channel. So this I absolutely followed guides for. I love my Korgorath. Love it, the way that the light catches at height, the raised bits, and this is, yeah, I don't know, I still like it. Trying to edge highlight and thinking, nope, I can't do it. Every process, every time you paint, I guess you learn something else, and as you can see, I'm not a great painter when you look at people who can paint, but on the other hand, it's better than that, isn't it? You know, there's blank spots amongst my things, and hopefully this channel will correct some of this, but oh yeah, certain models have a big place in my heart. Still very big on using these for cultists. You know, the guys with hoods on, and I love to use these no hooded people. Skulls. A lot of models have skulls on. There's some base to this, so technically that's a finished model. I'm sure you could do better. And I think we have to keep acknowledging the fact that it was a special time with my son when we'd play it and learn it together, and he knew the rules perhaps better than me at 7, 8, 9, 10, however, you know, much far along he was. Yeah, it was a huge part of our hanging out together, and still is, as you will see. I mean, current time, this year, my son brought a mate round and played Warhammer together good half a dozen times, and just lovely for me to see him passing it on to someone else, you know what I mean? It's a very deep connection that I feel between the hobby and me and my boy. I mean, now, D&D much more, but, you know, that's for my other channel. Back to the models. Poxwalkers, yeah, again, not the best bases. Some of them haven't been based, and I find a couple haven't even been undercoated. What? I like the guy in the jacket. Look at these painting advances as I did the weird yellows and greens. Old squid hand back there. It's cool. We jumped over the original scarabs. I try to mix it up with silver green and silver. Now they just look very crap. So yeah, some lovely models in the Age of Sigmar 2 box set. And I just sprayed them red and green as a shortcut to, I'm not painting them yet, but I'll get round to it. You know, you can tell who's on whose side. But then when I got a smaller box set and I bought the paint set, I just did those dozen models. And these are pretty nice actually. I am fond of these. And I looked for this paint set the other day and discontinued. Yeah, so the drum and the roses or whatever on the railings. Nice. But just a shed load unpainted. And there's some damn cool, some absolutely beautiful models in this set as well. Really cool. But I forget I've got them. That's terrible, isn't it? And as for these little skeleton guys, as much as I was happy about painting them, I hate them. They're just intensely flimsy. Too flimsy for me to even bother touching. I would lock them away in a room on their own. Even in making this video, one was broken in 3 places and is now being glued. So this model also came with the skeleton horde or whatever. And my son wants me to paint like a lava effect from the inside out, which we've started, we've experimented, and yeah, I quite enjoy painting these big models at the moment, but just calm down one at a time, one at a time. Ossiarch Bone Reapers, my son just came home with a box of them and we're like, oh, I love these, then never touched them again. But what he did do, he started with all the bases, tried to do that lava effect where that stuff, what you put on cracks, you paint it lavery underneath and then the clay cracks as it dries. And fair play to him, he had a go himself. I don't think he was terribly happy with them, but he just abandoned the project. Now I'm big on terrain pieces and I've started to just throw any old paint on, because they look better than nothing. You know, even these, just washes, a couple of washes make them look okay. This, we went to Warhammer World. This is a bunch of Warcry, Claws of Karanak or something, undercoated and forgotten. You've probably seen my video about the Demon Knight. This is my favourite painting so far. Just needs to be properly based, and then these bloodletters just need the base as well. Sigmar 3 models with some kind of sterling mud, I think it was, on the base. My attempt at painting a flag? Messy. Very messy. I did a video about painting this on my pre-D&D channel. They're lovely, colour scheme's great. Especially this dude, look at that. Keep forgetting I've even got this model. Yeah, just levels of happiness with my own things. I've also gone on about my Space Marines, which I chose to do a darker blue, Cantor blue, purely because I had it from the Stormcast Eternals, and I thought, I'm going to use what I have. And that's kind of the ethos of this channel, use what you have, rather than being a complete slave. Of course, this is my most recent finished model, which I love. Now my son, boy, he does love the Necrons. The colour scheme that he chose, that he saw, this bluey silver with orange and yellow, even some unpainted scarabs there, and then even the scarabs looked pretty cool, not based yet. But he keeps buying them, so grey again. Back to basics, and somewhere I've just done the 2-tone colours and it's never ending. And I guess finally it's the Scaventide, which I've been showing you fairly regular. Just this box set, I've done the Spearhead, yet to do the rest of Skaven, and then currently sidetracked into this boss. And I've got all the Stormcast to do. So used this for the recent models. Got white because I bought white undercoat thinking that the Stormcast would be white. And then when I saw they weren't, I bought these 2 metallics. £30 for these 2 cans. 30 quid. Which kind of goes with what I'm saying of the money that I've spent slash thrown away just for them to go in draws now. This channel in some way is to do something with these things, you know? One day maybe even get some income on this channel and make some of that money back. And this channel isn't all meant to be Warhammer, it's whatever I'm into at the time, and I'm into a lot of things. Magic the Gathering, Call of Cthulhu, other roleplay games. But while I'm in this zone, this is what I'm showing you. Well, this is me for now. Are you in the same boat? Do you look forward to seeing some of these models painted? Let me know your thoughts.